Ladies and gentlemen, we've got this UForce 1000 up on the lift here at the shop at Main Street Cycle. We got some portal blood. Well, I guess that means we're getting some portals on this unit, Harmon.
Yep.
We got a big job coming up. It's going to be exciting. We're going to be showing you how to install the portals on the UForce 1000. We're going to be installing Moorhead off-road front arms. We're going to be installing RJWC exhaust. Oh yeah, these are the tires that are going on there. 32-inch Super ATV Terminator Max tires. We got our wheels there, so it's gonna be pretty sweet. So we're gonna get started on that, and we will show you the process of installing the portals, some things that you need to kind of be aware of when you're doing that. But it's gonna be a really fun build, guys, and we're gonna show you the end results of what it's gonna look like. And I think you're gonna really, really like this build. Mr. Harmon's unboxing some goodies. Looks like we've got the new brake rotors here. Is that like the back plate?
Backing plate, spindle,
yep.
deal.
Okay. So we're going to get everything unboxed, spread out, laid out, and we'll be installing the Moorhead arms first. So we got up on the lift, and obviously we're going to have to go through the removal process. These portals are made to be able to go on your factory arms, but if you want maximum clearance and to beef up your machine, then you definitely want to go with our Moorhead front arms here, and those are exclusively available here at Main Street Cycle or teammscparts.com. That's going to give you forward offset. It's going to give you lift as well. You can either get the front arms that comes with the bracket lift for the rear, or you can get the rear arms as well. Those have adjustable, you can adjust the camber and all, because the bigger you go, the more you're going to need the ability to adjust that. And again, all that's available right here, and you can go down the description of this video and click on the links and kind of spec it out and do your own build and see how much it'll cost you. Oh snap, Harmon has completed the passenger side. He's bolting up those Super ATV Terminator Max tires. Look at that beast. Yep, so passenger side is complete, and we're going to actually take you step by step on the driver's side. And you'll be able to follow along with these steps in order to do mount up your front portals, and then we'll proceed to the rear of the machine. We've already removed the tire. He's actually already removed the axle nut and the shock. We got it lifted up out of the way. And but again, that's just the removal process. We don't want to stress and spend too much time on this. He has removed the cotter pin or cotter key here in both the tie rod end and the upper and lower ball joints. So those, what size were those? 18 millimeter. That's what you're going to need to take those nuts off with. And now we're simply going to be able to take a hammer and just tap here, and especially with this being a new unit, this is going to be a little easier, but just a little tap and that's going to fall right out. There we go. There we go. Just pull that off. We won't be needing that no more. I've already removed the nut off the upper A-arm, and 17 millimeter,
and then you get a
15 millimeter on the head here. So 17 nut, 15 millimeter on the head of the bolt. And is that the same thing for upper and lower?
Yes.
Okay, so we just remove that. You're going to pull that out of the way, and boom, that's done. We'll repeat the process, and both upper and lower arms will be removed, and then we will be swapping over our bushings and tube and ball joints into our Moorhead off-road upper and lower A-arms. So as you can see, they're so pretty. This is the black. We have different color options for you at teammscparts.com. Moorhead builds an awesome product. We're just going to remove the grease fitting.
7 millimeter.
7 millimeter. Yeah, he'll go ahead and just kind of hand thread that. We'll tighten it up in just a moment. But again, this is just going to be a process of us just swapping everything over and removing the clip here on the ball joint. And you want to make sure you don't, get anything confused. You want to put the upper ball joint in the upper arm when you swap this over. So
in the right direction.
In the right direction, absolutely. So again, with this being new, the tubes are going to come out very easily. If it's used, you may have to get a little aggressive or forceful.
New ones.
Yeah, or order some new ones. And that's something that you can do at teammscparts.com. You can order new bushings and all that. You can just go to the OEM tab, OEM parts tab. You can also access that at mainstreetcycle.com. But you can get new ball joints and just start fresh if you want. And you can get all that at the same place you get your arms and portals from, at teammscparts.com. We'll take this clip out. We'll be able to press the ball joints out now. So if you have a press, you can do that, or you may have to go to your buddy's shop, your local shop, whatever, and press those out. And you don't want to damage the arm nor the ball joint when you go to do this. So be very careful. Make sure you do it evenly and correctly so that you don't damage anything. All right, now that we have our ball joint pressed out, we've got our Moorhead arm here. And we're just going to get our press set up now to press the ball joint in. Again, make sure if you need an extra hand, do so. Keep everything nice and even and press it in correctly. Booyah, she's in there. And now we can put our clip in. Make sure it's snapped in all the way.
Yep.
And then we can put our bushings in and tube in. That'll be nice and easy, especially since it's fresh. Shoot.
They're not gonna show them.
We've brought over to the machine. We'll go ahead and just get it in place, and then we'll repeat the same process on our lower arm. Mr. Harmon has now got the ball joints pressed in, got the bushings and bushing tubes in, and he's just going to torque those down now, and then we'll move on to the next step. At this point, we're going to take our driver's side back plate here, and we're going to mount it up. So just going to insert the axle somewhat through, get that pressed in. And of course a third hand would be nice, but Harmon's got it worked out here. He's just going to start that bottom nut there. Well, I meant, I'm sorry. Yeah. You're right. I meant on the bottom side of the top.
Yeah.
He's going to start the nut on the bottom A arm. We'll just simply get her tightened down and go ahead and put the Carter pin in it.
Yep.
All right, we'll just get that lined up. Harmon has the portal over here on the workbench, and he's just installing the drain plugs. One thing that we're going to do before we even put it on the machine, which you can do this step when it's mounted up, of course, but just right now while we have it on the bench, we're going to go ahead and put our portal blood in it. And you can get this at teammscparts.com. This is your portal blood that's made specifically for your Super ATV portals. And that's the good stuff. But we are, one big thing that they stress to everyone when they're installing or doing, fluid changes on their portals is not to overfill your portal. You want it to be flat on a flat surface, especially if it's already, you don't want to do it up on the lift. Get it down on the ground. Make sure the portal's sitting flush and level, which on the bench here, we can really do that, right? But a lot of people are just soaking the portal blood or gear oil into the portal, and while it's still pouring out, they're quickly putting the plug in. And what that's going to do is cause you to have too much fluid in the portal itself, and then you will have some problems there. So what you want to do is pour it in, and then once it starts coming out of the fill hole, you want to let it completely drain out. Take your time, don't rush this step. And once the gear oil or portal blood is done pouring out, you then have a flush and level fluid level with your threads there. We're also turning the portal itself right here and allowing that gear oil to really work all through the portal chamber. Another good practice is once you do get the correct level in it and you go drive it around, maybe after the install is complete, which we will go over that step here in just a little bit. When we finish the install, we'll drive it around and then we'll bring it back in. We'll pull the plug on the fill port and we will check the level, because there could be an air pocket down in the bottom, and after you drive it, it'll work itself up. So just want to make sure you don't have too much fluid, but you also don't want to have too little fluid either. So this is a really important step. It seems small, but it's really important to stress this because you want your portals to last a long time. So if you do maintenance correctly, you use the correct gear oil, which we highly recommend the portal blood, you're going to be able to protect your portals, protect your investment, and it'll last a long time. And you may be stressed out thinking, oh, there's barely any in there. And you just got to realize that that housing is, there's not a lot of vacant space in there. It's packed with gears and all that. So it really don't take much. But once you get your level right, we'll put the plug in, tighten it down, and then we'll install our portal on the back plate. If you ever wondered how much a 4-inch portal weighs, it's 26 pounds. I thought it was more, but it's 26 pounds. Charman's just adding a little bit of blue Loctite to the bolts, and we're about to get ready to bolt this bad boy up. So one bolt that you do have to remove is this one here, where the brake bracket is going to go. As you can see, it says remove this bolt from each gearbox and then set it aside. So that's that one there.
Remove this.
And it is torqued down from the factory, so you have to bow up on it. We'll get that out of the way, and then we'll go put it on the back plate. Yeah. Alright, wouldn't it be nice if I helped you?
Yeah, it'd be too easy. Because you wouldn't be out here every day helping me.
That's right.
It makes it too
Can't
easy.
get you used to it.
That's right.
So we're going to just line that bad boy up. We've got the axle just put in there just so that we can line everything up. Then we'll start all of our nuts on there. And of course, all of this hardware is included in your kit. Mr. Harmon here said that Super ATV stresses not to use impacts on this step. All right, so we're gonna get those tight. Mr. Harmon has applied some Loctite on the axle nut. So you wanna make sure you put some Loctite there, because you don't want that axle nut to be backing off while you're riding.
No.
So we got that on. Now, keep in mind that you won't go all the way flush on all the threads there. Don't stress about that. That axle nut is recessed into the portal, and it has plenty of threads. You can see in your instructions here from Super ATV, it definitely recommends to use thread locker on your axle nut. And then when we get to our castle nut, you're going to want to torque it to a minimum of 300 foot-pounds of torque, and so you're going to need to bow up on that bad boy.
Yeah.
Well, if y'all know me, I had to stop and go eat some lunch, and Harmon took a shorter lunch break than me, and he's already done a couple steps. But all he's done here is put the brake caliper mounting bracket in. There's also a spacer here, and that just helps line the brake pads up on the rotor just right. Harmon now has the axle nut cover. And he put the gasket on, and he went a little step further and used a little bit of Honda Bond there to really seal things off. Now, that's not required by Super ATV, just a little extra step that we wanted to do to make sure that no water and debris or anything like that's going to get in here. but Super ATV does include a gasket that is sufficient according to Super ATV. So again, you don't have to do the Honda bond at all. Just we wanted to do that. But on these, you don't want to strip these out. You don't want to get them too terribly tight. If you were to ever down the road have a problem out on the trail, you want to be able to break this loose to get your axle nut off. And if you had to change an axle out on the trail, if you were way back there in the woods or something. So yeah, just get them nice and snug. No need to bow up on these. Plus they're small. Torque rating ain't gonna be very much. All right, so Mr. Harmon's gonna quickly show us how to install our Moorhead off-road tie rods. And he simply just took this piece out here. We're about to get it lined up where we can put our boot on. We're gonna simply put this heim in through the boot, poke out the threads there. Okay, we're gonna put our nut back on. All right. Then you can just fold that boot over backwards. Okay. Easier said than done, right?
Yeah. Most definitely.
All right, and then we're going to go ahead and throw some red Loctite, because this is a bolt that you don't want to have to revisit out on the trail. Make sure that there's no grease or oil on the threads, because you want your red Loctite to really be able to do its thing. So I just inserted that. Of course, all we've done up to this point is remove the OEM or factory tie rods off of the steering rack. Now you notice Harmon's giving a little bit of room there so that he can straighten it out once he really torques down on it. Now it's going to be almost straight up and down. Then he's going to take his tie rod and his heim end, put it in the left-handed thread end. So it's going to be a lefty tighty. All right. Putting a little more red Loctite here. Again, make sure that those threads are nice and clean, no oily residue before you apply your Loctite. We're going to tighten this bad boy down. I do want to point out that the heavy-duty tie rods from Moorhead Off-Road, they're not straight, they have a bend to them. Now this was an update that took place, I don't know, several months ago, and I haven't done an install video on this new update. It is a little different now, because with it being straight, you could have more easily adjusted your tie rods. Now with the bend in it, and of course the bend is there to have a better setup that leaves less stress on the steering rack of the U-Force, and so the angle is just a little better by having this kick in it, and you want to have that bend going downward and then out towards your hub assembly. Also at this point you can get your boot in place. Now the passenger side boot is a little more frustrating to work with and get it into place, but just have a little patience and work that on and make sure you get it all the way on, and then we'll be able to put a zip tie on that and cinch it down. Harmon has threaded this out just a little bit, and we're going to get things pretty close here initially. You want to make sure you have about the same threads sticking out on each side, the inside and outside. At this point, we're not going to really tighten all this down yet, because once we get the tires bolted up, our portals complete, when we set it down, we will then do the fine-tuning adjustments on the toe in and toe out with the tie rods. So on our brake rotor and everything, you will see that the studs, the wheel studs, are not in place. in your instructions, you can go to the wheel hub bolt pattern page, and it will show you exactly what you need to get
A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
And then you got Polaris, Can-Am, Arctic, and then Honda, Yamaha, which is CFMOTO 41110.
That's right.
So
now, I don't know why they put CFMOTO there at the 156.
I don't know.
But remember, it is the 110.
Yeah.
So Honda, Yamaha, that's what you want to do on the CFMOTOs. On the Honda, Yamaha, that's D pattern, which is the blue, and that's the ones you want to make sure that you're putting your studs in.
And when you're doing these kits, you do have your stock spindles.
Yeah.
So what you do is you can come over here to these,
that's
which
right.
we think is, you know, the closest in ones. You line them up.
Yeah, you can just
it'll fall right on it.
In.
And that's where you want to put your studs.
Yeah.
Make sure you put them from the back side.
Yep.
Out.
Yep. All right. And so you'll just press those in, and then we're ready to install.
Really throw this bad boy on there.
You want to make sure that the fins on the rotor are all going forward when you put it on. Yeah.
So
it's a good tip.
There you go. So got the car keyhole between the two studs.
Harmon has added a little red Loctite there. And then we're going to tighten this baby up. That's a 41 millimeter.
And then we're just gonna
line her up. That way we can put the cotter pin in.
This is the one.
Alright.
Stop. Okay. Take all of our little vibrate thing for the brake pads. Take them over here. Then we're going to pull both these out. Shove them in the hole. I'm going to put some Silver Glide brake lubricant. So, you stick them in the hose. Pop your little rubber over that like that. A little bit of blue. Clips. Put them in. This little long tab does face to the outside.
Okay.
They're kind of hard. They are very sharp, so just be easy with them. Don't hurt yourself. They'll just clip right up in there if you go slow. Either pad can go on either side. This. These bolts, I done got my little Loctite on them.
Alright, now we're just going to tighten them down.
And that's installed.
Something we did off camera was Harmon had already removed these stock OEM brake lines. With your portal kit, you do get all new brake lines, because instead of just having extenders, it just makes it more reliable, less connections, just works out better for everybody. So Harmon, all you had to do was just remove that, correct? Just
you have to remove the brake switch.
Okay.
Here, you'll have to go up and cut a few zip ties, find the plug up here, unplug it, and then it'll just wrap up on itself.
Okay.
You know, break a wire, could screw it, mess it up.
Okay. So you just got it unplugged out of the way.
Unplugged it, you know, stick it over here so it'll twist with the.
Yeah, you got to twist it with it.
When you pull this out, so just take this out, take your two stock lines off. This is the floor.
Yeah.
There's your two stock ones. All right, and then the instructions, it'll say the longer one is to the left or to the right. I guess right.
Yeah.
And then the
towards the passenger side.
For the driver's side.
Shorter side for the driver's side.
Yep.
Okay.
So you just put them back on, reinstall this just like you took it off. Make sure you got your 3 banjo washers.
Yeah.
In between all of them.
Right.
You know, reuse all them. And get these where you need them. This is still loose here. You can see it's still loose. So that way I can adjust all this where I need it, and then I'll lock everything down.
Then we'll route everything, lock it
bleed
down.
It good.
That's right.
Yep. So I have to this point where you put your banjo bolt with the washer, then your other washer, then you stick it in to your caliper, and should be of course. I took the wheel back off the other side. I put it on earlier just to see, and I noticed that I had to loosen this back up and push this in so this would not rub the rim.
Yeah.
So just something
that's a 15-inch wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a 15-inch wheel. It was kind of close, so you want your.
So I just broke this loose.
Yeah.
You know, pushed it back where it would hold it. You know, back off of it. And
yeah, and then route it nice and neatly.
Yep. All right. And a good trick to banjo bolts, that's good and tight. So we're to this point now. Got everything else done. We're gonna run.
Just route our brake line.
Route our brake line. We're gonna put one of these 1-hole clamps and a 10mm they send in the
kit.
Leave a little slack for turning purposes, and that's just our 10mm bolts.
Like Harmon said, he's just got just enough slack so that there's no binding in the brake line when he turns it or when the suspension flexes. There's plenty of room, and then we'll clean these zip ties up, cut them, and everything will look nice and neat. All right, while we've been away, Harmon has been working on the rear, and we're actually going with our Moorhead off-road rear arms, and that has camber adjustment built into it, and they are nice. So you get arched, they're offset to the back some, raked back if you will, and it bolts right up to the Super ATV plate, and the portals are installed, and it's no different than the front, right? As far as bolting up the, you know, you just the portals are the same as far as the process of getting your axle nut in. All that process was the same. Well, guys, it's another day. It's actually the next morning, and it never fails. We have so many jobs lined out, and we're trying to get these jobs done in a very quick and efficient time. And Harmon actually came back last night after hours to get this customer's job done, his build done, because he's coming to pick it up today. So he's already filled these portals up. He's just got to tidy up a few things and go back through it. Also, go ahead and put some grease in here as well. I think he's already done the uppers, but he'll check all that, grease everything. There's your grease fitting down there. Sorry about the focus. He just hooked up the emergency brake on this side. Brake lines hooked up, tidied together. So again, these are the Moorhead off-road rear A-arms. They do have built-in lift into them, 2.5 to 3 inches. And then you also have the camber adjustment. They're rear raked as well. So you're getting clearance further back. You're getting clearance, ground clearance. And also they are arched rear arms. So anyways, he's getting that all finished up, and we'll try to catch what we can, but we're really wanting to get this done, go through it really, really well before it leaves here. And once it's done, we'll kind of give the final walkthrough of it. He's still going to install the RJWC exhaust and a couple other items. So the finished product is going to be an absolute beast. So this is the actual step that I missed last night on the parking brake situation. Harmon's going back and just inspecting it and taking it off because the driver's side, or passenger side rather, wasn't wanting to line up good. So we're going back through, making sure it's just right. Putting on the driver's side, he's already got the passenger over there hooked up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I missed it. Your hand was in the way. But anyways, just taking, hook that on. And just yeah.
Just like this.
Just put it on. It's that simple. That's
just
right.
put it on there.
Just put it on there.
Pull it back so the brakes ain't locked. Make sure this other side's pulled down. Brakes ain't locked.
And
then what we'll do is.
And then that's your master here, going up to your hand, the handbrake there. Now we're just gonna put our lid back on and bolt our main box back down. This is where you need a buddy, and we're gonna pump these brakes and gonna get all the air out and make sure the brakes work good. All right. And if you do have to adjust any of your main cable, of course you just have to access it from behind. It's right up underneath the parking brake handle there. But now that we've got all that tidied up, we've bled the brakes, everything's good to go. Of course, we'll actually get it down once we get the tires on it and drive it around, and we'll check the brakes, maybe bleed them some more, make sure they're just right before this one heads out of the shop. But at this point, we're just going to install our RJWC exhaust. And again, you can get all of these products right here at Main Street Cycle or at teammscparts.com. And if you don't feel confident in installing this stuff yourself, you know that Main Street Cycle can get the job done for you. Do any build that you would like and any style for any machine. So Harmon has set this unit down, and man, it's looking awesome. But of course, he's fine-tuning the alignment with the tie rods here from Moorhead Off-Road here at Main Street Cycle.
Have a little bit of toe in with the front.
Yeah, you want just a tad bit of toe in.
Yep.
It's always most important.
Line the tire up, make sure your steering wheel's straight.
Yep.
And then you'll come back, and these will be just loosen these up, your lockdowns on both sides.
Yep.
And then do a turn in here, and then do a turn out here. And then check it by, trying to put it back in. And if you're good and straight on both sides here,
yeah.
If it's going in at an angle, it ain't ready yet.
Right.
So
yeah, it needs to settle right in. As long as this is
good and straight there,
you're good to go.
Then it should be good. You're gonna have to fine tune it.
Yeah. So you'll twist the whole tie rod here.
Yeah. You'll have to take it out and just do one whole turn one way.
And then do a turn as well on the outside.
Because you won't have this.
That way you have the same spacing of threads on each side.
And then, then just kind of snug it all back together.
Yep.
You can drive it.
We'll drive it, make sure everything's good. Yep.
Look at it.
Yep.
If it's not like you like it, just go back through that same step.
That's right.
Just keep one turn at a time and try it.
Yeah, and the only thing different with these tie rods is the fact that you have to unbolt them to adjust them, and that's because of the kick or angle bend in it. So that's the only thing different. Normally with a straight one, you would just be able to undo the jam nut and then just twist it. But with this angle, the geometry of this design, you do have to take an extra step of just unbolting it. But it's not that big of a deal, guys. So just follow those instructions. Remember, you want just maybe a degree in of toe in. You do not want any toe out. At least 99% of the situations you do not want toe out. So have just a little bit of toe in, or 0 degree is okay as well. And make sure your suspension is scrubbed out, and then we'll lock everything down after we verify that it's all good to go. But man, that is sharp. What y'all think? All right, this is the first time we're rolling it out. We've got the tie rods adjusted pretty closely. We're just going to do a roll and check, drive it around here, make sure everything's good. We'll bleed the brakes again, and make sure it's not pulling either side. put all the front bumper and front plastics and all that on, of course. Now while Harmon is putting the bumper and all on, old Joel's over here, he's putting the tune in the UForce 1000. That's the Team MSC tune. And we'll be ready to rock. Of course, we're gonna test it a few more times, run it around here. We wanna make sure everything is just right. We'll go through and do a bolt check again. And we got bleeding the brakes, checking the level in the portals again, and everything should be good to go. Well guys, that's going to do it for this build and this video. This one for now is done and ready for the customers to pick up. And hey, if you want a build like this, you can actually purchase a brand new machine here at Main Street Cycle and build it out how you want it, and we'll dress it up. We'll do the whole build here, and y'all can handle the paperwork and all that good stuff with the sales team, and the team in the shop will build it out and have it ready for you to pick up on signing day. Man, yeah, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, you can get one of these builds done at Main Street Cycle right here, and you can get all these parts shipped to your door as well if you live far off, and you can get that at teammscparts.com. I hope this video was helpful for you if you want to do the install yourself, and if you appreciate it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down in the comment section, make sure you're subscribed. I appreciate y'all. If you want to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can go to realtalkpowersports.com, get you some merchandise like this shirt or this hat. We got a bunch of different options there, even for some kids. And also, something new and something special I'm excited to get to do is subscriptions on Facebook. So you can go to Real Talk Powersports on Facebook and hit subscribe. It's only $2 a month. You're going to get exclusive content that will not be seen anywhere else. Live videos, just, you know, that nobody else is going to get to see, as well as pictures and other videos that only subscribers will get to see, and that's just $2 a month. So tell a friend about that if you're interested, and I appreciate it, guys. God bless y'all. As always, remember to keep it real. We'll see you in the next one.